Welcome to the second video in the Rhetorical Situation series titled Stance Analysis. When analyzing the writer's stance on a topic, you want to examine the writer's attitude and emotional state. Does the writer appear angry, annoyed, or worried? On the other hand, does the writer appear to be curious about a subject, skeptical, cynical, or is the writer trying to solve a problem? When analyzing the writer's stance, think about it in terms of how the writer positions himself or herself in relation to the audience. If the writer assumes that the audience knows little on the topic, then she or he may choose to be more explicit about terms and information. If the writer knows the audience quite well, then she or he may choose to exclude information because it's self-evident. Think about how the writer establishes authority on the topic. Does she or he rely on research articles, create his or her own studies, or rely on personal narratives to gain trust with the audience? Also, think about position in terms of genre. Is your essay intended to sound like an intellectual conversation that embeds multiple viewpoints? Or will your essay be like a presentation in front of a niche audience of fellow scientists, educators, or social activists? Or will your essay be like a speech for a more diverse audience? When analyzing the writer's stance, think about the writer's epistemological stance. This word's a mouthful. Epistemology is the study of knowledge, of how we know what we know. This is important to know about a writer because it teaches us about the types of questions that are important to the writer. For instance, on the topic of child nutrition, a statistician may ask, how many American children do not eat 3 meals a day? An educator, on the other hand, would be more interested in whether missing meals affect student learning outcomes in the classroom. Looking at the writer's epistemological stance also teaches us about the types of claims made. For instance, in high school, a student may write about heart disease being the leading cause of death in America. In college, you would be expected to focus that claim more and provide reasons for why it's important. For instance, impoverished African American females in the rural South are more likely to die of heart disease due to lack of access to health care. With this type of project, not only will you explore the problem of heart disease like you would have in high school, you'll explain the main reasons why access to healthcare is a problem. In addition to claims, what counts as evidence? When we take a close look at religion, what counts as evidence are quotes from a sacred text like the Bible or Quran. On the other hand, for an audience of scientists, what counts as evidence are controlled studies and experiments, not a quote from the Old Testament. Let's review. To analyze the writer's stance, examine the writer's attitude on the topic, his or her position in relation to the audience, and his or her epistemological stance. A stance analysis is just one piece of the puzzle within the rhetorical situation. When analyzing the stance, also factor in the context, medium, purpose, genre, and audience. For additional videos in this series, click on titles such as Purpose Analysis, Context Analysis, Audience Analysis, Genre Analysis, and Medium Analysis.